Hi everyone. Today I need to look at the chain on my Estarli folding bike. I use it for commuting. I've been using it over the winter. It's been in some fairly rough conditions. We've also used it where we've pushed it across sand on beaches and things like this. So all of this is not good for the life of the chain and the various sprockets, cassettes, etc. So I did notice recently when riding, the chain was getting a bit noisier despite cleaning and oiling it. I've got a Park Tool cleaning device for cleaning the chain, and so I regularly clean and oil it given the conditions the bike rides in. But it was still getting a bit noisier, and then I started noticing a clicking sound. So the clicking sound was coming from somewhere down here. Now initially I thought it might be something to do with the sensor here. This is a cadence sensor for sensing the speed of your pedaling. Because it's an electric bike, that's what controls or gives a signal to the controller unit here, which controls power to the motor. But it was once per revolution of the crank it was making this click. And the thing is, this has got a nice guard on here. It prevents your trousers from getting oily on the chain, so it's not quite as easy to see. But actually looking closely, you can actually see it no longer snugly fits. So what that means is the chain has actually stretched. So what people mean by chain stretch is, well, it seems like the chain is stretched, it's got longer. What's happened is that the links of the various components, the rollers, the links, these things have worn and they've got more movement than they should, and it allows the whole chain to move further apart, and that means that the gap between the individual rollers is no longer the same as the gap between the individual teeth on the cassette or the front chainring. When that happens, that will start wearing the cassette and the chainring, and those are more expensive components to replace than just the chain. They're also slightly more difficult to replace. Now I guess there's a couple of ways these could wear. Routinely, as the rollers hit the teeth on either the chainring or the cassette, you've got metal to metal contact, so they're going to rub away there, and they're going to equally rub both the chain and those teeth. But also, if you've been riding in fairly dirty conditions, especially sand, that acts as an abrasive. So if that gets in, and you've not been able to clean the sand out, which is actually really quite difficult because you usually got oil on the chain, and so the sand sticks to the oil. The sand initially makes this crunching noise as you cycle when it's in the chain. That sort of goes away, but my suspicion is it goes away because it's just ground down to smaller and smaller particles and has eventually just turned into a grinding paste which will abrade away your chain. And in that case, this is what I think's happened. This bike's done 800 miles on that chain, which is, it shouldn't really need changing at that point. But the difference is we did use it once where sand got on it, and despite trying to clean it, I don't think I managed to clean it properly. And my suspicion is that the chain has worn a lot quicker than the cassette or the front chainring for that reason, because effectively the sand's got in there in those little rollers and has been wearing away the surfaces. So now you're getting this extra play, even though the other components don't seem quite as bad. So for that reason, what I'm going to do for the moment is just change the chain. I'm not going to change the cassette here or the front chainring there. I'm going to look to order those parts, and then I can have them ready to change shortly afterwards, because I will also inspect these. I mean, that looks pretty good to me, but if there is considerable wear on these, actually I can see some wear, what you're going to find is that will then wear the brand new chain, so you'll just end up wearing out that chain that you just paid money to replace. So let's see how bad this really is using a chain checker tool. So apparently, so you've got two dimensions here. One says 0.75%, and one says 1%. So apparently, if it gets to 0.75, you want to start considering changing it, and if it hits 1, then you definitely need to change it. So now my understanding of how you use this is, if we place that in here, and then if this is too long to fit there, it won't go in this gap because the tool is too long, then you're good. If it fits in the gap, then you know you've got wear. So actually with the 0.75, seat that in there, it actually doesn't fit in the gap because it's so warm. It's the other way round. So let's turn it to 1. Yeah, so that's, I mean, it should be hitting there. It's actually fitting. So that's a very worn out chain. So we definitely need to replace that. Now I've left the chain on here, but I've changed to the highest gear, so I've got a bit more slack. I'm going to use one of these Park Tool sort of rivet tools to get the rivets out. So I'll do that. So I'll make sure that that piece is tight. So this silver part is supposed to go actually in between, so within the links. I must say, this, having a proper tool to do this makes all the difference. I mean, it makes such an easy job of pulling that out. I do on my my multi-tool that I keep with the mountain bike. It's got one of these chain pin removers, but it's a very light duty looking affair, and I'm not convinced that it would do very well. Right, so now when I pull this out, this whole lot should fall apart, just like that. And I've got the end, I've got the link there. Yuck. And this lot really needs a clean before I put it all back together. Right, that's a bit cleaner. Okay, so I've got a replacement chain here. So let's go measure this against the existing chain, which I know will have stretched, and then we'll know how many links to take out of this. Opening the box, there's the chain in the bag. When I open the bag, there's the master link here. I'm going to sort of cut this one to match the length of that one. I have had to sort of compress that chain, the old chain, a bit, because otherwise, because it's stretched, it would give me an incorrect length here. Right, so that was the point I need to cut it at. So using the tool again, pressing that pin out on the new chain. Oh, this is a very good tool, this.
Is it?
Yeah. It was worth spending the money from Park Tool to get a good one. There we go. So that's the master link. So there's a pair of them in there, one for each side. So that means that when we put this back together, it'll be quick release.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have to fiddle about with this if we need to remove the chain. I've left this in the highest gear. I don't know if that will make it easier. That. Somewhat counterintuitive when it's the derailleur is like this. It goes through that gap. Yeah. through there. So I think that is about right. Okay. I know some tools come with this, but so I've done a bit of wire coat hanger, or I think it's some aluminium fencing wire, just to make something to make it easier to join these chains together temporarily. Right. Okay, so now I should be able to get the links to join that together. Okay, one bit through there, one bit through there. This would actually be easy without gloves. Right, they should snap in. Okay, that looks good. Still as gummy as ever, that cassette, despite attempts to wash it. So I'll probably give this another wash after I've been for a ride, and then the chain should come pre-oiled, but I'll then put some oil on it after I've done that. Okay, so hopefully that will help, and we'll see whether it certainly fits better to, I feel it fits to the front ring better. So the next thing will be to look a bit more closely at the cassette here and the ring at the front, just to see if they're worn and need replacing as well. I'm going to do that fairly soon, because I don't want, if they're worn, I don't want them wearing out this new chain. Okay, good, let's go for a ride.